Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what is going on? It's Soggy Boy coming back at you with our very own James. James, what's going on?
Yeah. Nothing much. Doing dick all
Yeah. Well, hey,
as usual.
not just as usual. You're doing dick all right before you're getting married. That's an important dissertation there. That's distinction. Garbage time. We are full of trash and nonsense today for you, Mr. Joe Miller. Well, let's head right into our headlines. Let's talk about some stuff going on in and I almost just said the NHL. I'm losing my mind today.
Yeah, motherfucker. Close.
Yeah, I know. We don't talk about hockey no more. I don't get that privilege. Talk about headlines in the NFL this week. I guess depending on how you look at it, a big trade goes down. J.C. Jackson coming back to the Patriots for, I believe it's a late round pick swap. So they moved down, I think, like a round or two to get J.C. Jackson back. I mean, talk about a low risk, high reward kind of move for the Patriots. A guy that can play in the Belichick system. We already know what he's capable of. Obviously, injuries now. His history is a lot different from when he left. But we know that he is a baller and he is a ball hawk. So,
yeah, I mean, it should be interesting for sure. The things that like are the biggest points is like one, the injuries you talked about. We don't know. I also side tangent. I kept trying to record a TikTok today, and every time I went to say Christian Gonzalez's name, I kept saying fucking Adrian Gonzalez. I was like, no, that's the wrong one. With the injury of Christian Gonzalez, you don't know what that status is because apparently he could be out for the year. This is like a big possibility. It's like
so
up
sad.
there enough that it has to be
recorded. I was
this
so
kid,
excited to see him for the rest of the fucking year, James. It was so bad.
I was so ready to eat my take and be like, look, like just temper. Beginning of the year, I said I was like, temper expectations. This kid has the hardest wide receiver schedule I've seen for a rookie. And through 3 weeks, even a bit of that fourth week, he shined. He was a golden pick. But
yes,
injured in college, injured in the NFL, it kind of comes full circle. It was probably why he dropped, and now it's biting him back.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's one of those things. The best ability is availability, as every Patriots fan knows. It's been drilled in our brains since we were young. Yeah, I mean, I'm very excited that he finally hit on a first round pick for the first time in fucking 10 years. Thank fucking God.
Yeah. Just awkwardly got caught trying to boost our own stats. No, my second point about this whole thing is like when J.C. Jackson left the Patriots. This is just like the typical like Belichickian shit. When J.C. Jackson left the Patriots, there was not a single Patriots fan that believed that they were going to pay him in that like free agent window, right? No one thought that. Now, a few years later, like you said, might be a little bit of a different player because of the injuries. But a few years later, they're getting the Chargers to eat $12 million of that deal to bring him back for a late round pick swap.
Wild.
Insanity.
I mean,
actual insanity.
It is pretty wild that is the case. I mean, they're getting him on a bargain, clearly, and only to have to swap late round picks for the guy. I mean, seriously. Again, low risk, high reward. He goes uninjured, you're in the shithole anyways. What does it matter? It's not like you're 3-1 and holy crap, we're having a much better season than we expected. You're 1-3. You play the Saints this week. I mean, what do you expect? And if they're not going to have a good season, you might as well just sit. Well, what's wrong?
Now that I just noticed I had like the fattest grease stain on my shirt, like a fucking slob.
Amazing. Yeah, I mean, you really don't have much of a season left already, sitting at 1-3 through 4 weeks. Your offense looks terrible.
This is another thing you and I talked about. I'm sorry, I'm talking over you. Go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good. I fucking shut me up, please.
This is another thing we talked about. You're very lucky that the Jets are in the position they're in because, like we said it before, the AFC East is only trending up, and right now it is so top heavy with the Bills and Dolphins. It's going to be so hard to leapfrog those two. I think you have the Bills. Is that like end of the year flip, or I feel like you have a matchup against them coming up soon? Is that this week?
No, they play the Saints this week.
Oh, you just said that, yeah.
You don't listen to me.
I did. I just didn't process what you were saying.
Oh,
That's
okay,
all.
right, yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, they play the Saints this week. I'm not very hopeful for that game. It's literally a pick 'em.
Ooh.
It's I think the Saints maybe are a -1. I don't know.
I don't know if I'd touch that one either way, but
oh my god, no, that is in my off limits this week on if tune into Fantasy Time to find out what other games I have off limits. Selfless plug. But yeah, no, I have the Saints Patriots game as a do not fucking touch. Also, the Dolphins are frauds. Their defense is extremely fraudulent for no reason either. For no reason, they should be much better. But again, the parts are better than the sum in that case. So, James, you still there? Hello. Hello. I guess it's just me. James must have froze.
Oh, no, there he is. I'm back. Sorry.
It's okay. Basically, just what I was saying is that the parts are less than the sum, unfortunately. So the Giants are booty, though. So that's true.
Fact. Yes, I talked about that one like thoroughly. The Giants are ass. Like I thought this team was going to improve at least dramatically, and nothing. Daniel Jones. I think we can talk. We can talk about that now or whatever. But Daniel Jones is a bag of shit. That was such a waste of money. I think that's all. I think it was like a 3-year deal, and now they're either going to have to end up eating that, or I don't know. Like what do you do with that? Like you cannot move forward with Daniel Jones as your quarterback.
Not at a $40 million a year price tag. Do you see the you talking about the Boda question? Yeah. That's so. keep it flowing. Love the Jones.
Just go for it. I got it.
Did you were you in tune with the previous episode of Fantasy Time that I just did like 10 minutes ago, where we had Nick and I just shit on his life for 10 minutes? Should definitely take a look at that. Yes, it also means Boston, Tampa. Boda is for Boston and Tampa. At a time in our lives, right before COVID hit, James lived in Tampa. I still live here in Boston. He moved back up. We kept the name because it's synonymous for bullshit.
Bullshit?
It's really what it is. It's bullshit.
And we love it. Every minute of it. I don't know how to wear a hat.
No, you're good. I'm not saying you should have fucking been there. I just meant that like Nick is I'll preface this. Preface. I don't know.
Preface?
Shut the fuck up. Who the fuck even are you? Okay. So Nick had Daniel Jones as his boom quarterback for this season in fantasy.
Damn. Did he really?
I called his ass out on it. I was like, "Oh, hey, wasn't Daniel Jones your boom quarterback for fantasy this season?" So, because he didn't mention him in his busts so far for the season. And I was like, well, kind of noticed here that Daniel Jones was your boom so far, and he has not performed at all. So wouldn't that, in fact, make him your bust? Yeah, so I'm just giving him shit for that. He's not here to defend himself, Nick. You were just on with me. Love you long time. Daniel Jones, sack of shit. And I'll quote this from the previous podcast, but if I could sum up Daniel Jones's career and the Giants as a team in the last 5 years, it's that 85-yard run where he stumbles and falls over himself at the end. That is the only play that I remember being as exciting or entertaining that Daniel Jones has produced in the last 5 years.
Dude, Do Not Disturb does nothing.
No, literally though, it really doesn't. I made
Everyone is currently disturbing me.
I know, seriously. Well, because it's like you have a certain amount of people you put on there, and then of course it's those people that bother you while you're in the middle of a fucking podcast, Mom.
God, Dad.
God damn it. Anyway, so those are the headlines. Anything else you want to add in there before we like actually talk about football and not about boxed fucking wine, Megan?
No, I don't think there's anything like headline wise that stands out to me. I'm trying to think like quickly back, but
I did want to add the Bengals just dropping La'el Collins off the face of the planet.
Wow.
I mean, because their offensive line doesn't need any help, and he's just not doing anything.
Tre'Davious White.
Tre'Davious White, yes, him going out. Yes, him going out is huge, obviously. Yeah, I know, I forgot. Injuries, Christian Gonzalez, obviously Matthew Judon for my team specifically, but if you're not a Patriots fan, who really gives a fuck. Tre'Davious White is big because that is playoff ramifications knocking down.
Yeah, but you could tell that like he knew it himself. Oh, we got an angry face in the chat now. You could tell like he whipped his helmet off. He knew it was something that was going to end his season.
That's so sad. So fucking sad.
I know.
My heart broke when I saw that. Seriously.
He's a player you don't want to like. There's never been a bad thing said about Tre'Davious White unless you're like not a fan of the Bills. Like he's just a dude who just goes in and
like I really do like him. Him and Xavier Howard both slept on corners still.
Mm-hmm.
So, besides the point, we did have some Boston news this week though, non-football related. Drew Holiday gets traded to the Celtics, so that's cool.
Yeah, that's
I mean, it's a W in my book. But non-football related Boston news, since we're Bo in the Bota, so whatever. But also, always. All right, well, let's talk about Week 4 then, James. Let's talk about some games from Week 4 that we saw. Let's start off with our games of the week here. Give me your game of the week for Week 4.
So I was in one of those unfortunate like adult stages where I didn't get to watch a lot of football this week. It was very sad. But please sponsor us, Raising Cane's. I gotta say, like the game of the week, there was some shady shit that went on. But Commanders and Eagles was so much fun. It was so much fun, and it had like the drama. It had the very clear false start. Don't pretend. If you say that wasn't a false start, you're from Pennsylvania. That's not a lie. But both quarterbacks balled out. Brian Robinson with one of the worst fumbles I've ever seen. That was so painful. I can't imagine watching that. I think like even Megan, who's popping in the chat, had Brian Robinson in. She did not see that replay. But my God, if I was watching that knowing I had him in, and I was like,
I have to disagree with you. The worst fumble I've ever seen was Justin Fields last week.
Okay, fair. No, I mean, there's definitely worse.
That was the worst fumble I've ever seen in my entire life. He literally went and then just went, see you later.
No, I mean, if we're gonna get down to the brass tacks of it, like the worst fumble is like the Deshaun Jackson, like right before the goal line.
Oh yeah, he just kind of dropped. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I'll give you that.
Oh, my poor little Chazzy bear. I don't like that. But I'm going to stick to it.
All right. My game of the week.
Hold on. Shut up. This is more important.
Ooh, what do we got?
Middle Tennessee State just hit a field goal. They did the lights out celebration. They started flashing the light in the stadium.
For a field goal? What's the score of that game anyways?
3-0 with 43 seconds left in the first quarter.
What the fuck is that? That's asinine. I cannot believe that.
I love it.
Hey, whatever. I mean, honestly. All right, game of the week for me, unfortunately, is going to be the Chiefs and the Jets. There's no way around it. That game was absolutely fucking rigged. It was. I'm sorry. How do you miss that blatant of a hold call on 3rd and 23? How? It wasn't even like a little he had him by the collar for what it looked like to be like 15 to 20 seconds. I mean, seriously.
It's one of those ones you look at. Same thing as a false start. You look at it and you're like, I don't know. I get there's a thing like in game.
Yes, I know. Jawan Taylor, false start every play, and they just don't call it anymore. Ridiculous. They can get away with it. Ugh. I mean, not that he didn't do that when he was on the Jaguars, but he's on the Chiefs now, so whatever. I don't know. But yeah, and was game of the week that Zach Wilson is the only quarterback in NHL, NFL, or collegiate football to have outperformed Patrick Mahomes in every stat line. I don't know how it's possible. Zach Wilson.
That's weird. I don't like that. But that does feel like a very like Zach Wilson stat. Is like Zach Wilson did this thing, and like years down the road, no one's gonna know who Zach Wilson was except for like
Patrick Mahomes.
Like people. Yeah, it's like, oh, like this guy outperformed Patrick Mahomes. Like cool.
That one
right.
time. I don't know.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
It's the same air as like Trent Dilfer has a ring.
It really, yeah, it is.
Yeah, right.
That's a good point. Yeah. Oh, I don't like that.
Tyrod Taylor also has a ring. People forget that.
With what team?
With the Ravens when he was a backup. He backed up Joe Flacco.
In 12, he did? Did he really? I did not know that.
Tyrod Taylor has a ring with the Ravens.
What the fuck you mean? That's wild. I love that. I love that random fucking bullshit stat nonsense. All right. Blowout. Bills Dolphins. I mean, I really don't think there are other ones, but that has to be the blowout.
Yeah.
Bills looked and felt like they were the dominant team the entire game.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about one of those other blowouts, and it's the Browns. That was so bad.
Sorry.
That's so bad. Like it almost looked like the entire team, like without Deshaun Watson, it was like the same era as like the Giants when they lose Saquon Barkley. It doesn't make sense. Like the offense stops, but when the Browns lose Deshaun Watson, everything halts. The defense like regressed. Special teams regressed. Offense regressed. DTR not ready to be our backup like every week. There's actually another one right there from Joe on YouTube. Jimmy G's been to 4 Super Bowls. Same air. Those backup stats. It was painful. It was hard. It was hard to watch. I didn't get a lot of it. I didn't try to watch a lot of it because after I started seeing the scores go through, it was great for me partially because I have Lamar Jackson in a ton of fantasy leagues. But I think actually you and I talked about it. It was one of those like AFC North like cycles where you said like the Browns have the Bengals number, the Ravens have the Browns number, and then like the Steelers are just kind of cocktails between like wins and loses and losses.
And the Bengals have the Steelers number.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a vicious cycle. But
I just forgot about when the Bengals ended the Pittsburgh undefeated season.
Yeah.
It made me happy. Yeah. I had that little thought of that, like Von Bell. I think it was Scoop and Score.
It just popped up in your mind. You got so happy. I just saw like the.
I did. That was pure dopamine.
Yeah, I know. It was great. I mean, let's talk about some other upsets. Talk about some other blowouts. The Bengals and Titans. The Titans winning 27-3. I mean, what the hell is going on with the Bengals? They look terrible.
I don't know. Jamar Chase is starting to get real frustrated, though. Did you hear this? He's like, I'm always fucking up.
Yeah, and it has nothing to do with Joe Burrow. It's not his fault. It's not. It's that offensive line.
I know, like, but at what point do you realize that it might just be like the coaching of the offensive line? Like, they've already put the money into the offensive line. Like, the money is there. The players are in the position. For some reason, like, scheme-wise or whatever, it's just not hitting.
At all. I mean, they have to be the worst offensive line in the league right now. They have to be.
I could look it up, but it's going to end up bringing me to PFF, and I'm going to get mad about it. So
that's true. I mean, we can obviously talk about Patriots and Cowboys, but
yikes!
Why bother? I mean, at this point, what does it matter? Mac Jones gave the Cowboys defense 14 free points on 2 plays. I mean, seriously, what are you supposed to do? The offense didn't show up. If you are a Patriots fan, Mac Jones lost you that game single-handedly. Side note, Matthew Judon and Christian Gonzalez went out. They only gave up a touchdown in the red zone at the end of the game. They kept the Cowboys out of the end zone in the red zone the entire game until the very end.
I want to ask you this one. How
I can't
no.
agree with that because Mac Jones can't even run with the fucking ball more than a yard and get strip sacked and have it returned for a touchdown. So
He's like if you had a mutant baby of like Kirk Cousins and Daniel Jones and it just turned out ugly.
No, he's
How
literally the child of like Kurt Warner and the checkout girl he was dating before he made it into the NFL.
nice. How long of a leash are we giving Mac Jones at this point? This is year 3, right?
Yeah.
So this is year 3. He has one more year under contract and then an option year. A question mark.
How long am I giving him, or how long do you think that they're?
How long do you think?
Obviously, I know you're rolling your eyes because I would say literally bench his ass next game. I don't know. I mean, he hasn't. I gotta give credit where credit's due. He's looked fine the first 3 weeks. He hasn't been bad. Again, with a grain of salt. Last week he fucking looked awful, like abysmal. He looked worse than 31 other quarterbacks that started last week.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, that 32 is DTR.
I mean, literally.
Yeah.
So I just like I don't know how much of a leash they're going to give him. It's really hard to stay on the field as a quarterback when you're giving the other team 14 points and you're only scoring 3. I mean, you single-handedly lost the game for the Patriots. You gave up 14 and you only scored 3. What are we supposed to do with that? Seriously, what the fuck are we supposed to do with that?
No, and I look at like thinking about it, like taking a step back. Like I did say on TikTok that like fine quarterbacks aren't going to win you championships.
No.
Fine quarterbacks are going to help you tread water. It's just the state of the NFL. Like if you don't have an elite quarterback, you're not keeping up. I know that feels like a less shocking statement than it should, but like you paid Daniel Jones. Like let's talk about that. I will say
$40 million a year.
You have him one more year secured under contract, right? And that is if Bill O'Brien, because Bill O'Brien's now linked to this Michigan State job. That is if Bill O'Brien does not leave. You have Bill O'Brien for 2 years. Hopefully you get him more weapons in this 4th year. And then maybe you can have a debate about that 5th year. But I'm not even fringing. I'm at the point right now where I'm not giving him that option year. I'm not giving Mac Jones that extra year. I'm trying to find my next guy or moving him so I can get a guy in the NFL. Like get somebody who's unhappy to come over to New England.
Yeah, I've had enough of him. I just like we've been through this road twice already. Yes, last year he did get injured. They didn't have an offensive coordinator. He looked fine the first year. It's really hard because he hasn't had a consistent sample size. He did the first year. They did pretty well. The second year he got injured and they sucked. This year they do have the hardest schedule in the NFL. I can't even argue with that because they really fucking do. I mean, all 6 of their games against are in division. They're all top 15 teams. Obviously, yes, I said the Jets are included in on that because their defense is so good. And they did already beat them, but it was 15-10. So take that as you will. But you know, I don't know. I think you really can only give him so much leeway, and that's the thing though, is that it's his attitude for me that just really fucking sucks. He is such a crybaby prima donna. Like everything has been given to him, whether it's on Alabama or at high school. It's just like he doesn't get it. He doesn't get it. And I'm not that kind of guy. I don't want that kind of quarterback on my football team. You want to be a field general? You got to lead your team? No one's going to listen to some whiny bitch boy who's crying because I don't have a wide receiver. I don't have this. I don't have that. Like, I mean, seriously. You have the talent. You have the brains for it. But yet you're just going to sit there and complain every time something goes wrong instead of trying to work with what you got. I don't know. I can't stand them.
I also think like every elite quarterback has like at least one trait that they do better than like 90% of other quarterbacks and the other 32 people behind them, right? So like Joe Burrow, hell of an arm. Justin Herbert, same deal. Patrick Mahomes has the tools as well. Great like field general presence. Josh Allen's the same thing. Like he's your leader. He's got the arm. He's got the mobility. Lamar Jackson's the best rushing quarterback in the NFL. Mac Jones was supposed to have this supercomputer brain. It's not even close to the best in the NFL. Like, by a long shot.
The decision making was supposed to be this is the guy. His decision making is the best we've seen in a long time. Where is that decision making? Because all I've seen is him turn the ball over time and time again. Whether it's poor decision to run the ball outside of the pocket and not protect it, whether it's to throw a dumb fucking pass over across, back against the field, across your body, into a soft cover 2 fucking. Besides coverages, seriously, who throws that ball? Dumb quarterbacks. He's supposed to have this. You said the supercomputer brain. Well, I don't fucking know where it is because it hasn't shown itself in 3 years. He was good the first year. Not what anyone was expecting him to be with a supercomputer brain. So I don't fucking know. He's looked okay the first 3 games with an actual offensive coordinator, but I think what we saw last year from Mac Jones is exactly who he is.
And especially if, like, you know, the rumor mill swirl, like, especially if Bill O'Brien is the heir apparent, like, he's going to want to get his guy in, right? Like, Mac's probably not his guy.
No.
Let's be real about that.
No, God, no.
So, you know, next couple years, you can see a switch.
Talk. Yeah, Mac Jones is just not the guy. I mean, that's the thing. Like, you don't have the guy in the system. What I don't understand, if you're Bill Belichick, is you have injuries on the defensive side of the ball. You're mismanaging your assets on offense. I'm sorry. DeMario Douglas and Keyshawn Boutte should be playing. They should.
Yeah.
Juju Smith is terrible. Devontae Parker is a walking injury waiting to happen. Play the kids. What is the worst thing that's going to happen? You go 4-13, and you draft Marvin Harrison Jr. at the 3rd pick. I don't fucking know. I'm just saying. Again, that is wishful thinking. But, and side note on that, apparently Caleb Williams is willing to play for the Patriots. Not that would ever happen, but we made the list. Whoopee, great. So stop. Don't give me that look. Don't make me think things, James. Don't make me think it. All right, great.
This game is terrible. Jacksonville State run gets a huge run, and then the guy just like dies, and like the 5-yard line, he's like, and just stops running basically.
So genuine.
Like you'd see all his energy bar on Madden went like, whoop.
All right, Upsetville in week 4. My biggest upset that I saw, that I enjoyed actually, is I don't like the Steelers. The Texans. How about the Texans, huh?
I was about to say it has to be the Texans. CJ Stroud, how you doing?
I know, wild. Again, give credit where credit is due. CJ Stroud has looked like a bona fide franchise quarterback throughout the first 4 games. They played some tough divisional games. They played some tough other opponents. He lit that defense up last week, and that is the Steelers' defense. Every year they are a top 5 defense under Mike Tomlin. So that is not an easy task. I don't care what anyone says. I'm impressed. Color me impressed with CJ Stroud.
You should be. We want to talk about processing. His processing is still not elite, but it's gotten
a lot of good decisions.
What's up, baby?
He was here last week too.
Wow.
You showing up for the boys. What's up?
What a guy. What a stud.
Yeah, but Texans over Steelers. I mean, Steelers offense may look worse than the Patriots, to be completely honest with you.
Mm-hmm. With better weapons too, which is even weirder.
With much better weapons, yes, yeah. I know. If an offense that has George Pickens that scores less than 15 points a game is disturbing.
Makes no sense.
at all.
Mm-mm.
All
And
right.
Matt Canada is a bum, so I don't understand how. Like, anyway, there's like a weird like graph you could put up, and like every step of the way, I'd take the Patriots being like worse than the Steelers offense, but somehow like the Steelers offense is worse. Like I don't know.
No, right. I know what you're saying. Again, it's the individuals are much better on the Steelers, but the sum for some reason is better on the Patriots than it is on the Steelers because
Yeah.
let's be completely honest. Kenny Pickett's look like a hot pile of trash.
Oh,
He
yeah,
has really good weapons. He really does. What?
Kenny Pickett's getting replaced next year. I'm so convinced of that.
For sure.
Unless this dude comes out and burns the world down, which I doubt, Kenny Pickett's done next year.
Yeah.
And
Steelers are evolving to their quarterbacks too. Which is good for you because that's your division. So
it's good for me because I called Kenny Pickett being a bag of shit. So
yeah, that's true. You did.
I
also have to say deep cut for Zack so far, the best one, calling the Sam Laporta breakout so far.
All right, can we talk about this? Not about the Sam Laporta thing. I debated so hard. Oh, that's a good point, actually. We'll get to that in a sec. I debated so hard. I was like, I know Puka Nacua. Like, I've watched him play for BYU. I was like, I wasn't ready to commit to the statement and then like whatever and be like, he's gonna be my breakout player. He's gonna be blah blah blah. He's gonna be one of my draft diamonds. I didn't fucking commit, and now look at the dude.
Well, that's what happens when you second guess yourself. You should have just went with your gut.
I know.
And that's the thing. I believe you because you do this consistently. So that sucks. I think you talked to me about that like a couple weeks ago too. You were like fucking kicking yourself about that.
Actually mad at myself that I could have called my shot on Amon-Ra and Puka Nacua and felt great.
Amon-Ra, I mean, obviously we know what Amon-Ra is right now. I mean, that's tough. That's a tough one.
That's a hard one.
Yeah, I mean, Amon-Ra, Marty Austin, you sack of shit. No, it's okay. I mean, to be completely fair, though, Bailey Zappi is just a little more mobile in the pocket, and he feels pressure a little bit better than Mac Jones does. I don't know what it is, but I like Bailey Zappi's poise a lot more than I like Mac Jones. I'm sorry, I do. I said it last year when he got replaced. I'm saying it again this year. I like Bailey Zappi better than Mac Jones. Why don't they start Malik Cunningham?
Wait, where was the transition of that? It was Mac Jones poise sucks. Bailey Zappi's great. I said this last year. Go Bailey Zappi. Put in Malik Cunningham.
Well, the whole point is this. I was trying to say this earlier, and I never came out. But I like again, preseason is preseason. I liked what Malik Cunningham was able to do for the Patriots offense. He's not the kind of player that you get every day coming out of college. I mean, he is a threat. He can run the ball. He is Lamar Jackson prototype. He has a pretty strong arm too. I mean, he made some decent throws in preseason. Again, preseason, I get it. But you work with him and give him the tools. I mean, I would run with him over Mac Jones any day of the week. I'm sorry. I would. I don't care. You're not getting good quarterback play out of Mac Jones or Bailey Zappi either way. So why not give the ball to a guy who can at least run 50 yards a game and at least score you a touchdown with his legs? Like, seriously.
You're also talking about a dude who broke Lamar Jackson's records at Louisville.
Exactly. So why? Why not even give him? Why give him a chance? And that's the thing too. They saw what they did with Lamar Jackson. They made a mistake. They fucking picked up Malik Cunningham, and they're still not using him. It doesn't make any sense. Why go out and get a guy that's a prototype of a guy you missed on in a draft and then not use him? It doesn't make it like it's mind-boggling. Am I wrong though?
No, you're not wrong. I don't disagree with you. Like everything you're saying, I get it.
It's just it's just so dumb because arguably one of the smartest franchises in the last 20 years, and they have a guy sitting on the practice squad who broke Lamar Jackson's records. I get it. It's college football, whatever. But that still means something, especially on the ground. Ugh. Week 5. God damn it. Week 5. Fucking, I can't do this anymore. I need to look at week 5 because if I don't, I'm gonna lose my goddamn fucking mind this week. I swear to God. All right, James, you got a blowout or a blowout? What's your game of the week this week?
Hold on. I was looking at Malik Cunningham stats.
Okay, you look up Malik Cunningham stats. I'll give you my game of the week this week. I feel like it's a pretty easy one. Dallas, San Francisco. Both teams are 3-1. What's that?
No, that's a good call.
Yeah, both teams are 3-1. This really is going to be more of a litmus test for Dallas than it is for San Francisco. Dallas's defense has looked amazing the first 4 weeks that it's played. Obviously against the Cardinals, it had some issues, which was weird. But they shut down the Patriots. They shut down the Giants. Yeah, they shut down the Giants week 1, scored 40 points. So Mac isn't it. Yeah, that's for damn sure. So I do like the 49ers in this game. I'm sorry, Cowboys fans, you can go fucking suck a fat dick. I really despise your team and your franchise as a whole. So there you go. That's my game of the week.
I'm trying to find one that like piques my interest more, but it's got to be the Cowboys and 49ers.
I mean, Vikings and Chiefs should be interesting.
I was looking at that. I was looking at Thursday Night Football, but I don't trust any Thursday Night Football games to be actually entertaining this week. Like, I don't know. It could at least be like
Bears, Commanders.
Really? Yeah, it might be so bad it's good. That's what
Justin
I was kind of hoping
Fields,
for.
who literally fumbled the ball 10 yards backwards and single-handedly tied the game for the Broncos on like the second to last play. Yeah, that
versus
team.
Sam Howell, who you never know if he's going to have like 3 interceptions or 300 yards. It's electric. Yeah. I'm going to go on the opposite side though. I think the Cowboys get this one done. This is going to be such a fun game. It's going to have my attention the entire time.
Oh yeah, for sure. Is that the Sunday night game?
Oh, yes.
Oh, thank God! Finally, they do something fucking right. And
I know.
What a good game in the fucking slot. Jesus.
Do we have a London game this week? It feels like a London week.
Yeah, Bills Jags.
Oh, we do.
Bills Jags. Yeah, whatever. Bills are gonna steamroll them.
Yes.
I mean, seriously though. Yeah, but Dallas, San Francisco, definitely game of the week radar for both of us. I'm sure Drew and Nick probably agree. Although I'm sure Nick would be like, "Oh, the Giants are gonna upset the Dolphins this week." Hey. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, Tua's going to go off for 5,000 yards just today, or just on Sunday.
He's going to break Dan Marino's passing yard record in one game. Yeah, that's a possibility. What about blowout watch? Obviously, Miami and the Giants. I think that
I was about to say
so much of a gimme that we don't even need to talk about it. Any other games this week that you're on potential blowout watch for here?
Nothing else is really standing out at me. I think if the Raiders end up going into this game more injured than or as injured as we think they are, because I think Jimmy G is out. I forget. And then Tay might be out as well. I think the Packers could end up just running over them because their D line, isn't it? I mean, that's not fair. Tyree Wilson and Max Crosby have had like a good pairing, but like they just didn't do anything for defensive backs. So you could see Jordan Love have a day. So I'm gonna take that.
I want to put this out there that game is also a pick'em.
Is it really?
Yes, the Packers are a -1.
Why?
It's literally a pick'em. I don't fucking know. We talked about this on Fantasy Time. Jordan Love is the 4th best statistical quarterback in the league right now.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I know. I also will ride high on that one because I called that too at the beginning of the year. Great. All right. Well, upset watch. I definitely agree. I think the Packers could blow through the Raiders, especially with a very suspect secondary. My gut is telling me that the Lions are going to blow the Panthers out of the water. However, I do have the under for this game because the Panthers defense has actually been pretty decent. And it's limited 3 out of the last 4 teams to under 21.5 points. They gave up a lot of points to the Seahawks, but so did the Lions. So I can't really fault them for that. So I have the under in that game. So I can't really see a blowout happening. I mean, it can obviously, but I don't think it will. It can. Anything can happen. I mean, I didn't think that Mac Jones was going to score 14 points for the Dallas Cowboys this week, and fuck if I know. Of course he did. So, all right.
Chop that Dak curse.
So fucking bad. It's like, God, I literally would rather eat a ball of uranium than watch the Patriots play football at this point.
That can be arranged. I can get some uranium.
Really? Can you get me some uranium? Hold on. Should we
I'll keep
stop
Googling.
the screen? Just do this right now.
Uranium.org.
If you Google where can I buy a ball of uranium, I guarantee you FBI's at your door within 10 seconds.
If they're not here already, I'm good.
Here. They're hiding in my closet. They're just waiting to go through my search history when I go to bed. All right. Well, we have upsets, and then I have a little special segment planned for the end of the show. So, upset alert. Who do you got? Any upsets this week?
I'm looking at a lot of tight games this week. Nothing's really jumping out at me, at least like money line wise. Honestly, I hate to keep doing it, but like with Tre'Davious White out, I could see the Jags taking advantage, but they never really play like over the top well in London. Like they had the one notable win that I can remember, which was Urban Meyer's. I guess I'll take the Jags, but I don't feel comfortable with taking the Jags, if that makes sense. Like it doesn't feel good.
You're just picking an upset to pick an upset, and you think that the Jags are the team to do it.
I don't think there's really a true like upset, but if I had to like gun to my head pick one, I'd pick the Jags over the Bills.
I picked Minnesota 2 weeks ago. They played decently well against the Eagles and came out, obviously did not win. I'm going to pick them again this week. Patrick Mahomes hasn't played all that well. Patrick Mahomes hasn't played all that well. They're in Minnesota, and the Vikings have a top 5 offense, especially passing, and that's kind of where the Chiefs struggle is in that passing defense. So I like the Vikings, especially Justin Jefferson. I mean, I don't know if we've seen them play each other with Justin Jefferson. They might not have played.
They had to have, but I can't think of a moment.
I don't think so. Think about how long has Justin Jefferson been in the league? 3 years now?
3 or 4.
He's been in 4 years. Then if he hasn't been in the league for at least 5 years, then they haven't played each other because it's a completely different conference. Because obviously they swap. They swap, right? They swap years. So they have Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson. I mean, I think they're going to completely overwhelm the Chiefs defense. And they're just not going to run the ball. I mean, why bother giving the ball to Alexander Madison for him to just hand it to a Chiefs defender? Why bother? We also have no idea what it's going to look like for the Vikings either. So
it'll be really interesting to see who they go for in the first round if they end up jumping for a running back this year.
I'm starting to take a look and see, and there's some interesting names out there. Interesting names. But yeah, I could see the Vikings upsetting the Chiefs, I guess, at home. I really see that more of like just a home win than an upset for the Vikings. But give me the Texans over the Falcons. That's technically considered an upset because I think the Texans are like a 2-point favorite there. They are a 2-point favorite. I have that as my upset of the week on Fantasy Time. 2-point dog against the Falcons. I mean, I like that. They're both 2-2. The Falcons do have a newly bolstered secondary. AJ Terrell still exists, and he's still fucking lethal.
Yes, sir.
But CJ Stroud has shown me a lot the last 4 weeks, and I think that he is going to have enough poise to pull out a victory for them. So.
Okay, I can buy into it.
Yeah, I mean, if the Texans end up losing, I'll pick the Falcons next week to upset whatever team they play, and eventually I'll get one right, James. Hopefully, we'll see.
I'm watching this. They have a dead dude on the field right now.
Do they really like bad, or is it just like whatever?
I mean, it just stopped it. Like they have both teams on either sideline. This dude's head stabilized. It's bad. It's real bad.
Well, that's not good. I guess that's where we go to our final words, JK. For those of you that don't already know, our baby boy is getting married next week.
This is a James segment?
Yes, this is a James forward segment. So those of you that don't know, James and his lovely fiance, Megatron, are getting married. I need to see her birth certificate, by the way. I guarantee you it actually says Megatron on there.
I would love that.
That would be great. Down in South Carolina. So we will be on a break next week. However, I was maybe planning on doing a little impromptu drunken disorderly episode down there.
Maybe you'll be hard fought to like keep me contained in one area. Good luck.
I mean, more or less what I was planning on doing down there is just like taking a quick video and like celebrating the about to be married couple. But yeah, so we will be on a break next week as Drew, James, and I will be in South Carolina for a wedding. We will not tell you where.
Not Nick, though. Fuck Nick.
Yeah, nah, Nick, no. Us, yes. So this is the last official episode of Garbage Time. The last time that Boda Sports will see James as a non-married man.
Yeah, if y'all want to say you love me, now's your moment.
Yeah, literally. If you've had a crush on James for the last, how long have I known you? 10 years maybe.
Oh God!
I'm saying I have a crush on you. This is what I'm announcing my love to you before.
Babe.
No, but seriously though, I just wanted to give you a shout out because you deserve it. You've been the backbone for Boda for literally since day one, and you're getting married. It's crazy. This is the last episode we have before you're married. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's wild. And then literally you'll get married and it'll be like, all right, it's another fucking Wednesday. So we got to hype it up. We got to continue the hype until it's here. So, so congrats from the bottom of my disgustingly Jewish heart to you
Shalom.
and Megan. Shalom.
Let's break a plate. Let's break a plate on Saturday.
Abs, we can do whatever you want. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in. You know where to find us. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, or whatever the hell Elon Musk is going to end up calling it after he loses all of his children to Grimes. We are on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. I'm sorry, I had to plug that in there. We will be back after our vacation, so enjoy some Week 6 football on us. Don't make any dumb bets without me. See you later. Stay solid.
Stay beautiful.